Recent discoveries in neuroscience are finally confirming what Zen masters have whispered for centuries. Slow, reflective listening activates the parasympathetic nervous system, allowing the body to soften, settle, and heal. Letting go of identity-based thinking, a core principle in Zen, is now shown to reduce anxiety, improve sleep quality, and increase resilience. So as you listen tonight, you're not just hearing stories. You're gently reprogramming your nervous system. You're returning to the place that needs no fixing, only remembering. The stories you'll hear tonight are drawn from Zen and Buddhist wisdom, timeless teachings that continue to soothe even in the age of noise and burnout. This is not just another meditation. It is a path that has helped generations across centuries release what they could not carry. And recent neuroscience confirms when the mind releases its grip on fixed identity, the nervous system doesn't just relax, it reorganizes. Healing becomes not a goal, but a natural side effect. So, science and centuries of human experience already agree. Tonight, if your heart feels heavy, if sleep feels far, and if suffering clings like a shadow, what if this was the moment it began to loosen? So, you don't need to force healing. You only need to rest. Let the stories wash over you like gentle rain, and feel the weight begin to soften. This a journey into stillness, into softness, into the space where suffering forgets your name. You'll feel yourself letting go, layer by layer, thought by thought, until there's nothing left to hold but peace. Before we begin, may I ask gently, pause, take a breath, and share your presence in the comments. This is Zen Buddhism Healing, a space beyond thought, a global sangha of still hearts resting together, so that our sangha grows not in size, but in stillness. Welcome to Zen Buddhism Healing, where silence remembers what the mind forgets. Now, let us begin with the first question that quietly changes everything. Welcome to the mirror that forgot to reflect. Close your eyes and allow the world to fade. If you are here, listening to these words tonight, perhaps it is because a certain kind of weariness has settled deep within you. It is not the simple tiredness of the body, but a quiet exhaustion of the soul. It's the feeling that comes after holding up a mask for too long, a reflection for others to see. Perhaps you have spent the day or a lifetime being a mirror for your family, reflecting the parent or child they need. A mirror for your work, reflecting the competent, unshakable professional. A mirror for your friends, reflecting the support and strength they seek. And now, in the stillness of the night, when all the others have gone home, the mirror is left alone. And maybe, just maybe, it is tired of reflecting. This is a space for that weariness, a space for the part of you that is ready to let go of the image in the glass. So breathe. Let this be a kind of confession, a soft admission to yourself in the dark. The performance is over. The audience is gone. What happens when even your reflection chooses silence? In a quiet corner of an old Zen temple, nestled high in the mountains, where mist moves like a slow river, there was a mirror. It was not made of silver or gold, but of polished bronze, darkened with age. For centuries, it had hung on a cypress wall, faithfully doing its one and only job, to reflect. It reflected the faces of young monks, their brows furrowed in concentration. It reflected the soft orange of their robes, the steam from their morning tea, the dance of a single candle flame in the pre-dawn dark. It reflected the seasons without judgment, the stark white of winter snow piling against the window, the tender green shoots of spring, the fiery maples of autumn. It held everything that came before it, the beautiful, the plain, the fleeting, the enduring. It held it all with a perfect, silent equanimity. But one morning, something was different. A young novice, preparing for his morning meditation, bowed to the mirror as was tradition. But when he looked up, he saw nothing. Not his own face, not the room behind him, not the light from the window. The mirror was not dark, nor was it shattered. It was simply still. It was as if the mirror had become so full of watching, so saturated with reflections, that it had finally decided to rest. It was fogged over, not with moisture from the air, but with a deep internal peace, like the morning breath of winter. It had forgotten how to reflect, or perhaps it had chosen to remember something else, its own quiet, bronze nature. The other monks came to see. They tried to polish it, to coax a reflection from its depths. But the mirror remained placid, serene, offering back only a profound and settled stillness. It was no longer a tool for seeing the self. It had become the self. In Zen, this is a powerful teaching. The self we cling to so desperately, our name, our history, our personality, our pain, is not a fixed and solid thing. It is a reflection, a temporary shape, a story we tell ourselves, polished and maintained every single day. We suffer not because we have a self, but because we mistake the reflection for the mirror. We believe we are the fleeting image, and so we live in constant fear that the image will crack or fade or be judged unworthy. We spend our lives polishing this image, curating it, defending it. This is the source of so much of our anxiety and inner turmoil, the root of insomnia that keeps the mind racing long after the body is ready for deep sleep. To let go of suffering is not to destroy the self, but to allow the mirror of the mind to finally rest. To let it become fogged with the warm breath of being. To let it forget the face it is supposed to be holding. To forget the reflection is to remember the vast, silent spaciousness that was there before any image appeared. The core principle here is non-attachment to identity. It's a gentle recognition that you are not the job title. You are not the relationship status. You are not the successes or the failures. You are not the anxiety that visits you at 3 a.m. These are just reflections, weather patterns passing across the vast sky of your true nature. Think for a moment about the energy it takes to maintain your reflection. The invisible labor of being on, of managing perceptions, of living up to the story of you. This is a profound source of modern burnout and depletion. In a world that demands constant performance, our nervous systems are wired for threat, perpetually scanning the reflection to see if it is good enough, safe enough. This hypervigilance, this constant self-monitoring, is like a muscle that never unclenches. It keeps the default mode network in your brain humming, replaying past conversations, rehearsing future ones, reinforcing the very identity that feels so heavy. But what if you could just stop? What if, for tonight, you gave the mirror permission to forget? Imagine your mind is that ancient bronze mirror. With every breath you take, feel it resting. With every exhale, imagine a soft mist gently clouding its surface. You don't have to shatter the mirror or deny the reflections. You simply let them soften. Let the sharp edges of your identity blur. The you that needs to be productive. The you that is worried about tomorrow. The you that is replaying a mistake from yesterday. Let them all dissolve into this gentle, peaceful fog. In this moment, there is nothing to prove, no one to be. This is a form of deep psychological rest. It is a way of healing from within by allowing the mechanism of self-creation to power down. You are not erasing yourself. You are reconnecting with the peaceful, silent presence that holds the self, the mirror itself, not the endless stream of images. It is in this state of non-reflection that true restoration can happen. When the mind stops striving to be something, the body can finally enter a state of deep sleep. The healing isn't in finding a better reflection, a more perfect identity to show the world. The healing is in turning away from the glass altogether. When we stop polishing our image, we may finally see the bowl that carried emptiness, and what comes next will not be found by looking. This is a profound reevaluation of where peace is found. We look for it in achievements, in validation, in getting the reflection just right. But the Zen masters point us inward to the quiet space behind the eyes, the silent witness that is aware of the reflection, but is not fooled by it. This is a core tenet of Buddhist psychology. Our suffering is born from a case of mistaken identity. When you are lying awake at night and the thoughts are spinning, what are they about? They are almost always about defending, defining, or worrying about the reflection. What will they think of me? Why did I say that? How will I handle this tomorrow? Each of these questions is an act of polishing the mirror, trying to fix the image. The practice is to notice these thoughts and, instead of engaging with them, to simply breathe, to exhale and let the fog roll in. You can say to yourself, "Ah, the mirror is reflecting again. It is doing its job." And then you gently, compassionately let it rest. You are not your thoughts about yourself. You are the space in which those thoughts arise and pass away. Letting go of who you think you are is the kindest thing you can offer your suffering. It is the ultimate permission slip to be at peace, right here, right now. There is no image to maintain in the safety of your own breath. There is no role to play in the stillness of this moment. You are the bronze, the wood, the quiet temple air. You are the stillness that holds the world. So let the mirror sleep. Let it dream of nothing. Let its surface be as calm and uneventful as a deep, still pond at midnight. In this quiet refusal to reflect, you will find a strange and wonderful freedom, a peace that does not depend on anything outside of you, a rest so deep it resets the very foundation of your being. Breathe in and feel the stillness. Breathe out and let the reflection go. There is nothing to fix, nothing to chase. The world slows down for you now. In this quiet, empty space, a new possibility emerges. A life not based on doing, but on being, not on holding, but on letting go. Feel the weight lifting from your shoulders as you release the need to be anyone in particular. Feel the peace that comes from this inner homecoming. You are returning to the source, to the silent, aware presence that you have always been. Everything is okay. In this moment, just be the mirror that has forgotten how to reflect. Be the silence that observes. Be the peace that underlies all things. Letting go of who you think you are is the kindest thing you can offer your suffering. The story can rest now. The identity can soften. The struggle can cease. And in that quiet space, your body, your mind, your soul can finally find the path to deep, restorative sleep. And when the mirror sleeps, the leaf begins to float. The leaf that floated without fear. As the mirror of your mind settles into a soft, unreflecting haze, a new image drifts into view. A single golden leaf breaking from its branch, not with a snap of panic, but with a sigh of release. It does not plummet. It does not fight. It dances. It spirals on an invisible current of air, surrendering to the gentle pull of the earth. This brings us to a quiet question, a whisper for the restless part of your heart. Can a falling leaf fear the wind that lifts it? Imagine you are standing in a silent, ancient forest in the heart of autumn. The air is crisp and smells of damp earth and distant wood smoke. The light is the color of honey, slanting through the nearly bare branches of the trees. There is no sound but the soft rustle of leaves underfoot. You look up and you see it. One last, perfect maple leaf clinging to its twig. It has held on through the green abundance of summer, through the first chill of September, through wind and rain. But now its time has come. A gentle breeze, no stronger than a breath, moves through the canopy, and the leaf lets go. It does not fall in a straight line. It catches the current. It swoops, it glides. It circles down in a slow, silent ballet. For a moment, it is lifted higher than the branch it just left. It sees the forest from a new perspective. It trusts the air that carries it. It trusts the gravity that calls it home. It has no fear of the ground, for the ground is not an end, but a beginning. It will become part of the rich, dark soil from which new trees will grow. The leaf's entire existence is a lesson in trusting impermanence. This is the core principle. All things rise and all things fall. All things are born and all things pass away. This is not a flaw in the design of life. It is its greatest freedom. We suffer because we try to be the leaf that refuses to fall. We cling to the branch with all our might. We cling to youth, to relationships, to jobs, to a particular state of being. We see the wind of change as an enemy, a thief that has come to take something from us. And so we tighten, we resist, we fight. And that resistance, that tightening, is the very definition of suffering. Your anxiety, that knot in your stomach when you think about the future, is the clinging. Your sorrow, the ache in your heart for a past that is gone, is the clinging. Your insomnia, the mind that refuses to let go of the day, is the clinging. The leaf teaches us a different way, a way of profound trust. To float without fear is to trust the path of change, even when you cannot see where it leads. It is to understand in the very cells of your being that letting go is not an act of loss, but an act of participation in the great, beautiful, mysterious dance of life. Let's bring this wisdom into the very center of your modern life, where the fear of impermanence can feel like a constant, low-grade hum of anxiety. Think of the fear of failure, the pressure to always be moving upward to secure your position. This is the fear of falling. We live in a culture that worships the branch, the stable job, the secure investment, the permanent relationship. We are taught to see the fall as the ultimate disaster. But the leaf knows something we have forgotten. The fall is not a failure. It is the fulfillment of its purpose. Its whole life was a preparation for this graceful release. Perhaps your own life, with its unexpected turns and painful losses, is not a series of failures, but a series of invitations to let go. To trust the wind. This is not a call for passivity or helplessness. The leaf did its work. It photosynthesized. It nourished the tree. It lived its leafy life to the fullest. But when the season turned, it knew it was time to release its grip. So it is with us. We work, we love, we build. But we must also learn how to let go, how to release our tight grip on outcomes, on how things are supposed to be. This is a deep form of mental relaxation, a way to calm anxiety at night. You are lying here, and your mind is clinging to a worry. Picture that leaf. Your worry is the branch. Your fear is the clinging. Can you, just for this moment, be the leaf? Imagine the worry is a twig you have been holding onto with all your strength. Feel the tension in your hands, your jaw, your shoulders. That is the cost of clinging. Now, with a soft exhale, imagine your fingers gently uncurling. You are not throwing the worry away. You are simply letting it go, releasing it to the wind of this present moment. You let yourself float. You trust that the great current of life, the one that beats your heart and breathes your lungs without any effort from you, will carry you. You don't need to know where you will land. For tonight, it is enough to be carried, to be held by the quiet air of this room. This is a powerful practice for anyone struggling with insomnia tips and tricks, because so often, sleeplessness is a battle of control. We try to make ourselves fall asleep, which is another form of clinging. True deep sleep cannot be forced. It arrives when we surrender, when we let go of the branch of the waking world and allow ourselves to fall into the soft, dark soil of the unconscious. The leaf's journey is a beautiful metaphor for this surrender. It doesn't fight the current, it uses it to dance. What if your anxieties, your fears, the very thoughts that keep you awake, are not enemies to be fought, but currents to be ridden? Instead of resisting a fearful thought, what if you could watch it float by like a cloud? Instead of tightening against a painful memory, what if you could let it be a current that carries you toward a deeper understanding of your own heart? When we let ourselves be carried, we may one day bow like the flame that bowed to the wind, and the pain may flicker into peace. This is the gentle reevaluation. Maybe the things you are fighting so hard against are not the problem. Maybe the fighting itself is the problem. The leaf does not see the wind as its adversary. It sees the wind as its partner in the dance of letting go. Can you find that partnership with your own life right now? Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest. That is the current. It is happening all by itself. You are already floating. You have been floating all along. The only difference is now you are choosing to notice it. You are choosing to trust it. Let this be a Buddhist bedtime story you tell yourself. The story of the fearless leaf. Let its wisdom seep into you. Let it soothe the part of you that is always trying so hard. Let it whisper to you that it is safe to let go. Impermanence is not a thief that comes to steal your treasures. It is the gentle, loving, universal law of undoing that sets everything and everyone free. The leaf is not sad to fall. It is its final, beautiful act of generosity. It returns to the earth to nourish the roots of the very tree that gave it life. This is the voice of interbeing. Nothing is ever truly lost. It only changes form. So let your worries change form. Let your fears become trust. Let your clinging become floating. Breathe in the courage of the leaf. Breathe out the need to hold on so tightly. In this moment, you are floating in a sea of stillness. You are safe. You are held. And the ground that is waiting to catch you is not an ending. It is a deep and dreamless peace. It is the welcoming embrace of restful sleep. Impermanence is not a thief. It is the gentle undoing that sets you free. You can let go now. Everything is okay. The wind will carry you. The stillness will hold you. The night will welcome you home. And the leaf, fearless, finds the fire already bending. The flame that bowed to the wind. As the image of the fearless leaf dissolves into the rich, dark soil of your awareness, a new light flickers into being. Imagine a single candle standing in the quiet dark. Its flame is a small golden teardrop of light, steady and serene. It holds its space, a tiny sun in a vast night. Then a breeze slips in through an unseen crack, a current of air, a change in conditions. The flame does not try to stand rigid against it. It does not try to fight the air. It trembles, it leans, it bows. It dances with the very thing that seeks to extinguish it. And in that dance, it remains alive. This brings us to a profound question for the part of you that feels embattled, the part that is tired of fighting. What if yielding was not weakness, but wisdom? Think of this small flame. Its strength is not in its rigidity, but in its supreme flexibility. A tall, proud oak tree can be shattered by a great wind, its unbending strength becoming its downfall. But the flame, by yielding, by surrendering to the movement of the air, preserves its light. It teaches us that in the face of conditions we cannot control, and so much of life consists of these conditions, the way forward is not to harden, not to resist, but to bend, to flow with what is. The core principle here is surrender to conditions. This is not the same as giving up. Giving up is an act of despair. Surrender, in the Zen sense, is an act of profound intelligence and grace. It is the recognition that you are part of a much larger flow, and that your attempts to control every current will only lead to exhaustion and suffering. We suffer when we try to be a flame made of stone. We want life to be still, predictable, and safe. So when the winds of change blow, a sudden illness, a job loss, a conflict in a relationship, a global crisis, our first instinct is to build a wall against it, to stand firm, to resist. But suffering hardens in the places where surrender should flow. The tension in your shoulders, the clenching in your jaw, the frantic spinning of your mind as you try to solve the unsolvable. This is the feeling of being a rigid flame in a gust of wind. You are trying to hold your shape against a force that is simply, undeniably happening. The flame offers a different path. The path of the water bearer, the dancer, the blade of grass. The path of moving with reality, not against it. Let's ground this ancient wisdom in the very real struggles you might be facing tonight. Consider the modern pressure to have it all figured out, to maintain control in a world that is fundamentally uncontrollable. This creates a state of chronic, low-grade resistance. We are braced against the next email, the next bad news, the next demand on our time. Physiologically, this state of resistance keeps our sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight system, on high alert. It elevates cortisol, tightens our muscles, and makes deep, restful sleep feel like an impossible luxury. Your body cannot enter a state of healing and restoration when it believes it is in a battle. The flame's bow is a physical instruction to our nervous system. It is a lesson in activating the parasympathetic response, the rest and digest system. To yield, to soften, to allow, is to send a powerful signal to your body. The battle is over. It is safe to rest now. So, as you lie here, feel the places in your body where you are resisting. Where are you holding on? Is it in your brow, furrowed with worry? Is it in your belly, tight with unspoken fear? Is it in your heart, armored against potential pain? Now picture that small, wise flame. With your next exhale, imagine you are the flame, and the air moving out of your lungs is the wind. And as you breathe out, let your body bow. Not in a physical movement, but in a subtle, internal release. Let the muscles in your forehead soften. Let the tension in your jaw dissolve. Let your shoulders release their grip and fall away from your ears. Let your belly become soft and receptive. You are not giving up. You are wisely, gracefully bowing to the reality of this moment. In this moment, you are tired. Bow to that. In this moment, you feel uncertain. Bow to that. In this moment, you are longing for peace. Bow to that. You do not have to fix it. You do not have to fight it. You only have to allow it to be, and in that allowance, you move with it. You dance with it. This is a profound shift in perspective. The wind is no longer your enemy. It is simply the weather of your life. And you are the flame that has learned the secret to enduring any storm. You remain by moving. You keep your light by flowing. Think of how this applies to the racing thoughts that cause insomnia. We often try to fight our thoughts, to push them away, to argue with them. This is like a flame trying to stand rigid in the wind. It only creates more turbulence, more struggle. The practice of surrender is to see the thoughts as wind. They are currents of energy passing through your awareness. They are not you. They are not solid. They are not a command. You can bow to them. You can acknowledge their presence. Ah, there is the wind of worry again. And then you let yourself be moved by it without being extinguished by it. You feel the fear, but you don't become the fear. You feel the sadness, but you don't become the sadness. You remain the quiet, witnessing flame, flexible and alive. This is a deep form of emotional healing. It's the understanding that you can be with difficult feelings without being consumed by them. You create space around them through the act of surrender. In letting go, we may dissolve like the path that walks itself, and what walks next may surprise even us. Here lies the paradox. In bowing, you become stronger. In yielding, you become unbreakable. In surrendering control, you gain a deeper, more resilient power. This is the timeless wisdom of Zen Buddhism, a path path to inner peace that is not about changing the world, but about changing our relationship to it. It is about finding the stillness in the midst of motion, the silence in the midst of noise, the light in the midst of darkness. You do not have to push the river. You only have to notice that you are in it and learn to float. You do not have to fight the wind. You only have to let it teach you how to dance. Let this story be a lullaby for the warrior in you, the part that has been fighting for so long and is so tired. You have permission to lay down your arms. You have permission to soften. The world will not fall apart if you stop holding it together for a few hours. Your life will not derail if you stop trying to steer it so fiercely through the night. Breathe in and feel the gentle presence of the air. Breathe out and bow to it. Let your whole being become as soft and yielding as that golden flame. Let go of the need to be right. Let go of the need to be strong in the old, rigid way. Let go of the need to know what happens next. Discover the strength in softness. Discover the power in surrender. Discover the deep, unshakable peace that comes when you stop fighting with life and start dancing with it instead. You do not have to push the river. Only follow where it already flows. The flame is not afraid of the dark. The dark is what allows its light to be seen. And you do not have to be afraid of the unknown. The unknown is just the space where grace has room to move. So bow, yield, and feel the struggle dissolve into a quiet, luminous peace. And the flame bowed becomes the rain. The raindrop that died into the ocean. As the light of the bowing flame softens and dissolves, you begin to feel a coolness, a wetness in the air. The dance of fire gives way to the descent of water. Imagine a single raindrop, perfect and crystalline, separating from a vast gray cloud. It begins its long journey downward through miles of empty air. For its entire existence, from the moment it was born of vapor, it has been a separate thing, an eye, a drop. It has its own shape, its own weight, its own trajectory. It reflects the sky above and the world below on its tiny, curved surface. It is falling, falling, falling. And then it sees it, a vast, endless, shimmering expanse of blue-gray water, the ocean. This brings us to a question that lies at the very heart of fear and freedom. Where does a drop go when it forgets itself? As the raindrop gets closer, it might feel a flicker of what a human would call terror. The end is coming. Its unique, separate existence is about to be obliterated. It has been a drop for its whole life, and now it will be nothing, annihilated, lost forever in the churning, impersonal sea. From the perspective of the ego, this is death, the ultimate loss, the thing we spend our entire lives trying to avoid. But the raindrop hits the surface. There is a tiny splash, a ripple that lasts for a second, and then it is gone. The drop is no more. But has it been destroyed, or has it come home? The water that made up the drop has not vanished. It has simply rejoined the vast body of water from which it originally came. The drop did not die. It became the ocean. It did not lose itself. It remembered itself. It remembered that it was never just a drop. It was, and always has been, the sea. This is the core principle of egoless merging with life. It is one of the most profound and comforting teachings in Buddhist psychology. Our sense of being a separate, isolated self, and I trapped inside a body, looking out at a world that is not me, is the fundamental source of our loneliness, our fear, and our suffering. This feeling of separation is an illusion, just like the raindrop's belief that it is separate from the ocean. To let go of the self is not to lose, but to return. It is to dissolve the painful, constricted illusion of me and merge back into the boundless, interconnected reality of us, of is. The ego fears this truth more than anything. It will fight tooth and nail to maintain its sense of separation, because its very existence depends on it. But all peace, all true joy, all deep, abiding love lives on the other side of that fear. It lives in the merging. Let's bring this cosmic parable down to the quiet landscape of your own mind and body tonight. Think about the feeling of loneliness. It is one of the most painful modern afflictions, a silent epidemic of disconnection. Loneliness is the feeling of being a single raindrop, aware only of its own boundaries, believing it is falling through an empty, indifferent universe. The pain of that feeling is immense, so we try to fix it from the outside. We seek connection, we seek validation, we seek another drop to fall alongside us. And these things can be beautiful. But the Buddhist teaching offers a deeper, more radical cure. It says that the antidote to loneliness is not just to find another drop, but to realize you are the entire ocean. You are not separate from the person you love, or the stranger on the street, or the tree outside your window, or the stars in the night sky. You are made of the same water, the same stardust, the same consciousness. The feeling of separation is a trick of the mind, a story, a habit of perception. And tonight, you can let that habit rest. As you lie here, feel the boundaries of your body. Feel where your skin meets the air, or the fabric of the sheets. This is the edge of the raindrop. The ego lives here at the boundary. Now, with each breath, imagine those boundaries softening, dissolving. Breathe in and feel the air entering you, becoming you. The outside becomes the inside. The boundary is permeable. Breathe out and feel your breath merging with the air of the room. The inside becomes the outside. You are sharing your very substance with the space around you. You are not a fortress. You are a field, open, vast, and connected. This is not just a poetic idea. It is a somatic reality. You are constantly in a state of exchange with the world around you. You are breathing it in. It is breathing you in. You are a wave in the ocean of being. The fear of dying into the ocean is the ego's fear of losing control. It's the part of you that wants to manage, to plan, to secure, to know. But this desperate need for control is the very thing that keeps you in a state of anxious tension, preventing you from the deep, restorative surrender of sleep. To fall asleep is a small act of dying. You must let go of the conscious, controlling I. You must allow your separate self to dissolve into the vast, mysterious ocean of the unconscious. Every night, life gives us a chance to practice this beautiful surrender. So when you feel the fear of letting go, the fear of losing control as you drift towards sleep, remember the raindrop. It is not an annihilation. It is a homecoming. As we soften into the sea, we begin to hear the echo that became the voice, where loss becomes song. This is the reevaluation of what you are. You are not just the wave. You are the entire ocean in motion. Thinking of yourself as a small, fragile drop is exhausting. It requires constant vigilance, constant defense of your delicate boundaries. But to know yourself as the ocean, that is a source of immense peace and power. The ocean is not afraid of the storm. The storm is just the ocean in a different mood. The ocean is not diminished by the departure of a single drop to become a cloud. It knows the drop will return. Can you rest in that oceanic identity tonight? Feel the weight of your body on the bed. That is gravity, the pull of the great earth. You are part of it. Hear the sounds in the room or outside. Those sounds are entering you, becoming part of your experience. You are connected to them. Feel the gentle, rhythmic tide of your own breath. That is the ocean of life, breathing itself through you. Let the story of me, the small, separate, struggling self, dissolve into this larger reality. Let go of your personal history just for tonight. Let go of your name. Let go of your plans. Let go of your problems. You are not abandoning them. You are allowing them to be held by a consciousness far vaster than your personal mind. You are letting the ocean hold the worries of the wave. This is the ultimate letting go guided meditation. It is the release of the very mechanism that creates suffering, the belief that you are alone and separate. You are not alone. You are woven into the fabric of existence in such an intimate way that you can never be separated from it. What if your disappearance is your homecoming? What if the moment you stop trying to be someone, you finally become everything? This is the peace that Buddhism offers. Not a peace you have to achieve, but a peace you return to. The peace of the ocean, which is always there, beneath the turbulent surface of the waves. So let yourself fall. Like the raindrop, trust the journey down. Trust that what is waiting for you is not an end, but an expansion. A release into something so vast, so peaceful, so unconditionally loving, that the small self is happy to let go. Let this story become your dream, the dream of returning to the sea. The sea forgets nothing, especially not the raindrop. The bowl that carried emptiness. As the feeling of the ocean cradles you, as the boundaries of the self dissolve into a vast, peaceful sea, a new form gently emerges from the stillness. It is a simple, humble object, an earthen clay bowl resting on a small cushion in a quiet room. It is not filled with rice or water or flowers. It is not ornate or precious. Its beauty lies in its perfect, simple, profound function. It sits there quietly, holding nothing. This brings us to a question that turns our worldly values completely upside down. What carries more, a full bowl or an empty one? We live in a world that worships fullness, a full bank account, a full schedule, a full stomach, a mind full of knowledge and information. We are terrified of emptiness. We see it as a lack, a failure, a void to be filled as quickly as possible. If our hands are empty, we reach for our phones. If our homes are empty, we fill them with possessions. If our minds are empty, we fill them with distraction, with noise, with worry. We are like a person who receives a beautiful, empty bowl and immediately panics, scrambling to fill it to the brim, believing that its value lies only in what it contains. But the Zen masters, with their quiet, paradoxical wisdom, point to the bowl and smile. They teach that the true utility, the true power, the true essence of the bowl lies not in what it holds, but in its emptiness. The hollow space inside is what makes the bowl a bowl. Without that emptiness, it is just a lump of clay, useless. The bowl serves not by what it has, but by what it is ready to receive. And so it is with us. The core principle here is the wisdom of emptiness. In Buddhist philosophy, emptiness, or shunyata, does not mean nothingness or a void. It means empty of a separate, independent, permanent self. It means being full of potential, full of possibility. We suffer because we are too full, full of our own opinions, full of our past regrets and future anxieties, full of our identities, our stories, our defenses. Our minds are so crammed with the clutter of the ego that there is no room for anything new to enter. No room for peace, no room for joy, no room for grace. To find rest, to find healing, we must become the empty bowl. We must create space inside ourselves to receive the ungraspable, unnameable gift of simply being. Let's place this bowl in the center of your modern experience, especially your experience with information overload and digital fatigue. Our minds have become cluttered attics, stuffed to the rafters with endless streams of content, notifications, opinions, and to-do lists. There is no silence, space, no emptiness. We are constantly filling the bowl, believing that more information will lead to more security or happiness. But the result is the opposite, a state of perpetual cognitive and emotional overwhelm, a mind that cannot power down, a nervous system that is chronically overstimulated. The inability to fall asleep is often a symptom of a mind that is simply too full. It has forgotten how to be empty. It has forgotten that its true function is not just to hold, but to release. The practice of becoming the empty bowl is a radical act of self-care in a world that wants to keep you constantly consuming. It is the practice of intentional mental fasting. As you lie here, I invite you to become this clay bowl. Feel your body as the solid, earthy clay forming the vessel. Strong, stable, present. Now bring your awareness to the space inside you, the space inside your chest, the space inside your head, the vast inner landscape of your being. This is the emptiness of the bowl. And perhaps right now it feels full of thoughts, worries, plans, and tensions. That's okay. There is no judgment here. The practice is not to violently scoop everything out. It is much gentler than that. Imagine that with every exhale, you are simply tipping the bowl just a little. And one thought, one worry, one small grain of tension gently slides out. Breathe in, feel the stillness of the bowl. Breathe out and tip it again. Another worry slides out without force, without struggle. You are not fighting your thoughts. You are simply creating the conditions for them to depart on their own. You are making space. With each breath, the bowl becomes a little more empty, a little more spacious, a little more silent. This is the healing power of inner stillness. When the mind is empty, it can truly perceive. When the heart is empty, it can truly love. When the hands are empty, they can truly receive. And when your being is empty, it can be filled with the deep, restorative peace of the present moment. In the still center of emptiness, we find the gate that opens inward, where nothing becomes everything. This is the reevaluation of what you need for peace. You do not need to add anything to yourself. You do not need a new belief, a new strategy, a new solution. In fact, you may need to gently subtract, to let go of the clutter, to release the noise, to empty the bowl so that it can hold the silence. The emptiness is not a lack. It is the prerequisite for fulfillment. A cup must be empty to be filled with tea. A room must be empty to be filled with light. Your mind must be empty to be filled with peace. This is a profound shift away from the striving, accumulating nature of the ego. The ego always wants more. More knowing, more having, more being. The path to deep sleep lies in the opposite direction. It lies in wanting less, in needing less, in being less. To become so beautifully, peacefully empty that sleep naturally arises to fill the space you have created. When you stop trying to hold the world, your hands will remember how to rest. When you stop trying to figure everything out, your mind will remember how to be still. When you stop trying to be someone, your soul will remember how to simply be. Rest in the beautiful, powerful emptiness of this moment. It is not a scary void. It is a welcoming space. It is the womb of creation. It is the silence from which the most beautiful music is born. Feel the peace of this inner space. It is your true home. It is the source of your strength. You don't have to fill it with anything. Just let it be. Let it hold you. Let it heal you. The world demands that you be full. But tonight, in this sacred space, you have permission to be gloriously, peacefully empty. And in that emptiness, you will find everything you have been searching for. Breathe in the space. Breathe out the clutter. Let your mind become as wide and open as the sky at midnight. Let your heart become as quiet and receptive as this empty bowl. Nothing to fix, nothing to chase, only this deep, healing emptiness. Only this profound, liberating peace. When you stop trying to hold the world, your hands will remember how to rest. And in that rest, you will find the wholeness you have been seeking. The wholeness that was never in the contents, but always in the container. The empty bowl sings to the gate without walls. The gate that opens inward. As you rest in the peaceful, receptive space of the empty bowl, your awareness is drawn to a new image, born of that very stillness. It is not something you seek, but something that appears now that you have stopped seeking. It is a gate, not a grand iron gate with locks and guards, but a simple wooden gate, half hidden in an overgrown garden wall. It is covered in soft green moss. Its wood is weathered and gray, and it stands slightly ajar, hanging on no visible hinges. It doesn't seem to lead anywhere you know. It doesn't promise a paradise or a reward. It simply is an opening. And it seems to be beckoning you not to a place, but to a direction, inward. This brings us to a gentle, searching question for the seeker in you, the part that has been looking for a way out of the pain. What if the way out has always been in? We spend so much of our lives searching for the exit door, the escape hatch from our suffering. We believe peace, happiness, and liberation are destinations located somewhere out there. If I could just get that job, if I could just find that partner, if I could just fix my body, if I could just move to that city, then I would be through the gate. Then I would be free. We are like someone standing in a room with 1,000 locked doors, trying every key, pushing against every frame, exhausting ourselves in the search for the one that will open to the outside. But the Zen teaching of the inward gate suggests something radical. It suggests that all the external doors are illusions. The only real gate is the one that opens inward into the landscape of your own being. The core principle is inner liberation over outer striving. It is the profound recognition that freedom is not a place you go to, but a space you uncover within yourself. Seeking peace in the world is like trying to catch the wind in a jar. You can chase it forever, but you can never possess it. Peace is not an acquisition. It is a realization. The realization of the boundless, silent, peaceful nature that is already present right here behind the noise of your striving mind. The inward gate is the passage to that realization, and it has a strange and magical property. It only opens when you stop pushing. When we stop seeking, we arrive. When we stop searching, we find. When we stop knocking on every door, the one that truly matters gently swings open all by itself. Let's explore how this ancient gate relates to the modern condition of restless dissatisfaction, the feeling that this isn't it, and that true life is happening somewhere else. This feeling fuels so much of our anxiety and consumer culture. We are constantly being sold external gates, the next vacation, the next wellness trend, the next self-help book, the next spiritual experience. We are taught to be perpetual seekers, always on the lookout for the key, finally unlock our happiness. But this very seeking becomes a form of suffering. It reinforces the belief that you are lacking, that peace is not here, that you are not whole as you are. The result is a kind of spiritual exhaustion, a burnout from the endless project of self-improvement and happiness hunting. The inward gate offers a different kind of healing, a healing that comes from ending the search. It invites you to call off the quest, to lay down the map, and to simply sit still in the room you are already in. As you lie here in the quiet of the night, you are at the threshold of this gate. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to achieve anything. You don't need to become a better version of yourself. You only need to be still. Still enough to notice the opening that has been here all along. Imagine that gate in your mind's eye, the soft moss, the weathered wood, the gentle, silent invitation. There is no handle, there is no lock. You cannot force it. But as you watch it with a quiet, patient, allowing awareness, as you let go of all your agendas and simply rest in the present moment, you notice it begins to swing open. It moves without a sound, revealing not a sunlit field or a heavenly city, but a deep, quiet, peaceful darkness. The darkness of the womb, the darkness of deep space, the darkness of the soil, the darkness of a mind at rest. It is not a frightening darkness. It is a comforting, nurturing, restorative darkness. It is the inner sanctuary where you are safe from the demands of the world. To step through this gate is to enter your own boundless inner world. It is to find liberation not from your life, but within your life. The problems may still be there on the other side, but here, in this inner space, they cannot touch you. Here you are free. This is a profound tool for mental relaxation and deep sleep. When the mind is trapped in the loop of outer striving, worrying, planning, regretting, it cannot rest. The invitation to step through the inward gate is an invitation to shift your entire orientation. From problem solving to presence, from doing to being, from seeking to stillness. Through that quiet threshold, we begin to hear the voice that became the echo, where silence speaks for all of us. This is the reevaluation of your power. Your power does not lie in your ability to change the world outside of you. It lies in your ability to access the world inside of you. That inner world is your refuge, your sanctuary, your unshakable home. No one can take it from you. No circumstance can damage it. It is always here, waiting for you to turn your attention toward it. So often, when we feel overwhelmed, we look for a distraction, something to take us away from ourselves. But the path of the inward gate is the opposite. It is to move toward yourself, to go deeper into the feeling, into the silence, into the core of your own being. There is a door that no hand can open, and it swings gently when you sit still. When you are struggling to fall asleep, it is because you are standing outside the gate, pushing on it, rattling its frame. The practice is to stop, take a breath, and turn around, to face inward, to become curious about the silence that lives behind your thoughts, to become interested in the stillness that lives beneath your restlessness. Let this be your only goal for tonight, to sit quietly before the inward gate, to watch it with a soft, patient gaze, to feel its silent pull. You don't even have to step through it. Just being in its presence is enough. Just knowing it is enough to change everything. The search is over. The striving can cease. Peace is not at the end of a long and difficult road. It is right here, on the other side of a gate that opens when you do nothing at all. Breathe in and feel yourself arriving at this quiet threshold. Breathe out and let go of the need to go anywhere else. You are home. You have always been home. You just needed to stop looking for the door. The gate turns without effort. The echo listens. The echo that became the voice. As you rest in the quiet sanctuary beyond the inward gate, a new awareness begins to dawn. The silence here is not empty. It is pregnant. It is resonant. It is listening. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a vast, silent canyon. You let out a single, soft sound, a sigh, a hum, a whisper. And you wait. And then, from the far side of the canyon, the sound returns to you. But it is changed. It is not just your sound anymore. It has mingled with the air, with the stone, with the vastness of the space. It comes back to you amplified, enriched, carrying the wisdom of the canyon itself. The echo is no longer just a copy. It has become a voice, the voice of the canyon, speaking your own sound back to you. This leads to a question that dissolves the very boundaries of the self. Is your voice yours, or all things echoing through you? In our Western way of thinking, the self is a source, an originator. We believe our thoughts are our thoughts, our feelings are our feelings, our voice is our voice. We are the speaker, the primary cause. But the Buddhist concept of interbeing, or interconnectedness, offers a radically different view. It suggests that we are not the source. We are the canyon. We are the resonant space through which the universe echoes. The core principle here is the voice of interbeing. It is the profound understanding that you are not a solitary speaker, but a convergence of countless voices, countless causes, countless conditions. When you speak, it is not just you speaking. It is your parents and their parents, their joys and sorrows echoing in your tone. It is the food you ate, the sun and the rain, and the soil that grew it, speaking through the energy in your body. It is the books you have read, the music you have heard, the conversations you have had, all resonating in the words you choose. Every breath you take is an echo of the breath of every living being on this planet. You are breathing in the oxygen gifted to you by the trees. You are breathing out the carbon dioxide that will nourish them in return. You are not alone in your sound. You are a symphony. To realize this is to be cured of the terrible burden of originality and the painful illusion of isolation. Let's feel this principle in the context of your own inner world, especially the struggle with the inner critic or feelings of inadequacy. The voice of the inner critic feels intensely personal. It feels like our voice, berating us from the inside. We believe we are the source of this harsh judgment, and so we feel shame and guilt. But what if that critical voice is not yours? What if it is just an echo of a critical parent, an echo of a demanding teacher, an echo of a societal message that you are not good enough? You are the canyon that has been innocently echoing a painful sound that was put into you long ago. When you see this, everything changes. You don't have to fight the voice anymore. You don't have to believe it. You can hear it with compassion, as you would hear a sad, distorted echo in a canyon. You can say, "Ah, there is that old echo again. I hear you, but you are not my true voice." Your true voice is the silence of the canyon itself, the vast, compassionate awareness that can hold all echoes without being defined by them. This is a path to deep emotional healing. It is the process of distinguishing between the echoes you have internalized and the authentic voice of your own being, which is always quiet, calm, and kind. As you lie here, listen to the landscape of your own mind. What are the echoes you hear tonight? The echo of anxiety, the echo of regret, the echo of loneliness. Instead of identifying with them, can you just let them be sounds in the canyon? Acknowledge them, hear them, but know that they are not you. You are the space that hears them. You are the stillness that holds them. This is the practice of Buddhist mindfulness, not to silence the mind, but to change your relationship to its contents, to see thoughts and feelings as passing weather, or as echoes in a canyon, rather than as the core of who you are. When you do this, you find a new kind of freedom. You are no longer a prisoner of your own mind. You are the benevolent warden of it, allowing all the voices to be there, but choosing which one to listen to. The words dissolve into the walk of the path that walks itself, where steps do not belong to feet. This is the re-evaluation. You are not the voice. You are the listener. And in the quality of your listening, you can transform the echo. When you listen to your own pain with harshness and judgment, the echo comes back harsh and distorted. But when you learn to listen to your own inner world with a vast, canyon-like compassion and acceptance, the echo begins to change. The painful sounds begin to soften. They lose their charge. They are healed by the quality of your loving attention. Eventually, a new sound can emerge. The true voice, the voice of your own innate wisdom, the voice of stillness, the voice of peace. When you listen without needing to respond, you will hear the world respond to itself through you. This is not just a psychological trick. It is the nature of reality. You are a focal point of the universe, a place where the cosmos becomes conscious of itself. The pressure to be a unique, separate, brilliant individual is a heavy burden. It is the source of so much striving and competition. The wisdom of interbeing invites you to lay that burden down. You don't have to invent your wisdom. You only have to become quiet enough to hear the wisdom that is already echoing through you. You don't have to create your peace. You only have to become still enough to feel the peace that is the very ground of your being. So let go of the role of the speaker, the originator, the doer. embrace the role of the listener. The canyon, the sacred, resonant space. Breathe in and listen to the silence between your thoughts. That is your true voice. Breathe out and release the need to be the source of anything. You are a channel, a vessel, an echo chamber for the sacred. Let this understanding bring you a profound sense of rest. You don't have to figure it all out. The universe is figuring itself out through you. You just need to provide a quiet, loving space for it to happen. In this quiet listening, the separate self dissolves, and you merge with the symphony of all that is. There is no more loneliness here, only connection. There is no more inadequacy here, only participation. Let the echoes come and go. Rest in the vast, silent, loving canyon of your own true nature. The echo takes form and walks. The path that walks itself as you become the vast, silent canyon, listening to the echoes of the universe. Something miraculous begins to happen. The listening itself becomes a movement. The stillness itself becomes a journey. Imagine you are looking at a path of fine, white sand, winding through a Zen garden. There is no one on the path. The garden is perfectly still. And yet, as you watch, a line of footprints begins to appear in the sand, one after another, as if an invisible walker is moving along the path. The path is not being walked upon. The path is walking. This brings us to a beautiful and liberating paradox. A question for the part of you that is tired of striving, tired of trying so hard to get somewhere. What if you didn't have to try so hard to arrive? We are conditioned to believe that life is a path we must forge through sheer force of will. We are the walker, and the path is something we must conquer. We must make progress, overcome obstacles, and push ourselves toward a distant goal. This model of life is exhausting. It turns our existence into a perpetual struggle, a constant effort of doing. We are always on our way somewhere else, on our way to being happier, healthier, more enlightened, more successful. The present moment is just a stepping stone to a future destination. But the Zen teaching of the path that walks itself suggests that we have it all backward. The core principle is effortless presence, or what is sometimes called Wu-Wei in Taoism, the art of non-doing, of effortless action. teaches that the path is not something you make, but something you allow. When you stop pushing, when you stop striving, when you stop trying to force your way forward, the path appears beneath your feet and it begins to walk you. Life begins to flow through you, rather than being a force you have to struggle against. This is not about passivity. It is about aligning yourself with a current that is already moving. It is the difference between rowing frantically against the river and simply putting your oar in the water to steer. Let's place this mysterious, self-walking path into the context of your own life, especially in relation to burnout and the feeling of being stuck. When we feel stuck in a job, in a relationship, in a creative project, our instinct is to redouble our efforts, to push harder, to power through. We believe that if we just apply more force, we will break through the obstacle. But often, this only makes things worse. We become more frustrated, more depleted, more stuck than ever. The path that walks itself offers a counterintuitive solution. Stop walking. Stop pushing. Stop trying to solve the problem with the same mind that created it. Instead, become still. Drop into the present moment. Pay attention to your breath. Feel your body. Listen to the silence. In this state of effortless presence, you are not giving up. You are getting out of your own way. You are allowing a deeper intelligence to emerge, the intelligence of the path itself. Often in this stillness, the solution appears as if by magic. A new idea floats into your mind. An unexpected opportunity arises. The path reveals its next step, not because you forced it, but because you created the space for it to be seen. This is the secret to overcoming the kind of mental and emotional gridlock that so often leads to insomnia. Lying awake at night, trying to force your mind to be quiet, is the very definition of trying to walk a path that isn't moving. It's a struggle against yourself. The practice of effortless presence is to let go of the goal of getting to sleep. Instead, you simply allow yourself to be, to rest, to be present with whatever is happening without trying to change it. You feel the anxiety, but you don't fight it. You hear the thoughts, but you don't engage them. You simply rest in the awareness of it all. And paradoxically, in that very act of surrender, the path to sleep begins to walk you. The resistance dissolves, the nervous system calms down, and sleep arises naturally, effortlessly, like a footprint appearing in the sand. This silence will soon become the cloud that remembered the sky, and we will rise without moving. This reevaluates the entire concept of effort. The ego believes that effort is about force, struggle, and will. But spiritual effort, the effort of presence, is about softness, allowance, and surrender. It is the effort it takes to keep your hand open, rather than clenching it into a fist. It is the effort it takes to listen, rather than to speak. It is the effort it takes to be, rather than to do. And this gentle, allowing effort is far more powerful and sustainable than the brutish force of the will. There is no traveler, only travel. No doer, only doing. This beautiful Zen phrase points to the dissolution of the egoic self in the flow of life. When you are truly in a state of effortless presence, the sense of a separate you who is doing the action begins to fade. There is just the breathing. There is just the listening. There is just the resting. The path is walking itself. Life is living itself. And you are the silent, peaceful space in which it is all unfolding. This is the ultimate rest, the rest from the exhausting job of being a self. Let this be your meditation tonight. Let go of the idea that you are the walker. Let go of the destination. Settle into the feeling of this present moment, right here, right now. This moment is the only path there is. Feel the path breathing you. Feel the path resting you. Feel the path holding you in its perfect, effortless embrace. You don't have to get anywhere. You are already here. You don't have to achieve anything. You are already whole. You don't have to do anything. You are already being done. Let this profound truth sink into every cell of your body. Let it release the deep, chronic tension of striving. Let it soothe the anxious heart of the seeker. The journey is over because the journey was never necessary. There is only arrival. The arrival in this perfect, present, peaceful moment. Rest here and let the path carry you into the deep, silent landscape of dream. And the sky begins remembering itself through a single drifting cloud. The cloud that remembered the sky. As you allow the path to walk you, as you surrender to the effortless flow of this moment, your perspective begins to shift. You are no longer looking at the footprints in the sand. You are lifting up, floating, becoming lighter than air. Imagine you are a single, white, fluffy cloud, drifting in an endless, deep blue sky. For a while, you are completely absorbed in your own form. Your shape, your density, the way the wind sculpts your edges. You identify as a cloud, separate, distinct, a thing. You might even feel a little lonely, a little anxious. Will I be blown apart? Will I turn gray and heavy with rain? Will I simply dissipate into nothing? The life of a separate cloud is full of such worries. And then, in a moment of profound stillness, you remember. You remember what you are made of. Water vapor, air, light. You remember that you are not in the sky. You are the sky, taking on a temporary form. This brings us to a question of ultimate homecoming. When did the cloud forget it was the sky? This is perhaps the most central and healing metaphor in all of contemplative practice. We spend our lives identifying with the cloud of our personality, the cloud of our body, the cloud of our emotions, the cloud of our life story. We watch our cloud self with constant anxiety. We see it change, drift, darken, and we fear its inevitable dissolution. We believe that when the cloud is gone, we will be gone. And this belief, this case of mistaken identity, is the root of all our fear of impermanence, our fear of death, our fear of letting go. The core principle here is returning to our original nature. The great liberation comes from a simple, profound shift in identification. You are not the cloud. You are the sky. Your true nature is not the passing form, the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations, the life circumstances. Your true nature is the vast, open, boundless, and unchanging awareness in which all these forms appear and disappear. The sky does not cling to the clouds. It allows them to be born, to drift, and to dissolve without resistance. The sky is not harmed by the fiercest storm cloud. The storm is just the sky's weather. It passes, and the sky remains vast, peaceful, and untouched. Peace comes not from trying to control the clouds, but in remembering that you are the sky. Let's bring this immense, cosmic realization right into the heart of your personal experience tonight. Think of a difficult emotion you struggle with, anxiety perhaps, or sadness or anger. When that emotion arises, it can feel all-consuming. It becomes a dark storm cloud that fills your entire inner world. You believe, in that moment, I am anxious. I am sad. You identify completely with the cloud. This is why it feels so unbearable. You have mistaken the weather for your entire being. The practice of remembering you are the sky is a practice of disidentification. When the feeling of anxiety arises, you can learn to say to yourself, I am aware of a cloud of anxiety passing through the sky of my awareness. Can you feel the difference? The space that opens up with that simple shift in language. You are no longer the cloud. You are the sky that is holding the cloud. You are the vast, compassionate space that allows the cloud of anxiety to be there, without being defined by it, without being destroyed by it. You can watch it. You can feel its texture. You can notice its edges. And you can know with absolute certainty that it will pass, because all clouds pass. But the sky remains. This is the essence of emotional freedom. It is not about never having storms. It is about knowing that you are the sky and that no storm can ever truly harm you. This is the ultimate tool for healing from within and for finding deep mental relaxation. As you lie here, ready for sleep, you can let go of your identification with all the clouds of your life. The cloud of your daily worries, the cloud of your physical pains or discomforts, the cloud of your identity as a worker, a parent, a partner, the cloud of your past, the cloud of your future. Let them all drift. Let them all be. And gently, softly, shift your sense of self to the vast, open, silent sky that holds them all. Feel yourself expanding beyond the limits of your body, beyond the confines of your personal story. Feel yourself becoming as spacious, as peaceful, as boundless as the sky at midnight. The sky has no problems. The sky has no agenda. The sky is not trying to get anywhere. The sky is simply, purely, peacefully here. And so are you. When all weather ends, we arrive in the silence that sang first, where even breath is a song. This is the final reevaluation. You are not something that needs to be healed. You are the healing itself. You are not a person who needs to find peace. You are the peace in which the person appears. This is your original nature, your Buddha nature, the timeless, deathless, unborn awareness that you share with all of existence. You have never been separate from it. You just forgot. Like the cloud, you became mesmerized by your own temporary form and forgot the boundless sky that is your true home. Tonight is a night for remembering. What was never lost cannot be found, only remembered. You don't have to do anything to become the sky. You already are the sky. The only work is to relax the part of you that is clinging to being a cloud, to gently let go of the contraction, the identification, the story. Breathe in and feel the vastness of the sky. Breathe out and let the cloud of your separate self dissolve into that vastness. Let it become soft, translucent, and transparent. Let it merge back into its source. This is not a death. It is a liberation. The liberation from the exhausting, impossible task of being a separate, fragile, fleeting thing. Rest in your sky-like nature. It is the most profound peace there is. A peace that is not dependent on circumstances. A peace that is always available. A peace that is your very essence. Let this remembrance carry you into the deepest sleep. A sleep where you are not just a body resting, but a universe at peace with itself. And the silence hums, already singing. The silence that sang first, as the cloud of self dissolves completely into the infinite blue sky of being, something remains. Or rather, something is revealed that was always here, before the sky, before the cloud, before the first thought. It is silence, but not an empty, dead silence, not the absence of sound. It is a living, breathing, vibrant silence, a silence that is humming with the potential of all creation. Imagine a vast, dark field just before the dawn. The world is holding its breath. The night has not yet ended, and the day has not yet begun. There is a stillness so profound, it feels like the canvas upon which the universe is painted. This is the silence that was here before the first bird sang, before the first word was ever spoken. This brings us to the first and final question, the one that returns us to the very beginning. Before the first word, what song was singing you? All of our lives are lived in the world of sound, of words, of concepts, of doing. We are downstream from the noise. We believe that reality begins with the word, with the thought, with the action. But all the great spiritual traditions point to a reality that precedes this. A primal stillness, a sacred silence, a ground of being from which everything emerges and to which everything returns. This is the source, the ultimate reality, the Tao, the Brahman, the Godhead. In Zen, it is simply the great silence. The core principle here is the primal stillness before thought. It is the understanding that beneath every sound there is a layer of silence. Beneath every thought there is a layer of stillness. Beneath every self there is a layer of pure, unconditioned being. Letting go of all our suffering, all our stories, all our struggles, is ultimately an act of returning to this source. It is the journey backward, from the noise to the silence, from the complexity to the simplicity, from the doing to the being. It is the recognition that the song of your life did not begin with you. You were sung into being by this great, silent, mysterious song that has been humming since the beginning of time. This ultimate teaching is the final and most profound medicine for the anxious, restless, modern mind. Our suffering comes from living entirely on the surface, in the crashing waves of thought and emotion, forgetting the deep, silent ocean beneath. We are addicted to the noise, the outer noise of media, and the inner noise of our own compulsive thinking. Silence has become frightening to us. We equate it with boredom, loneliness, or death. But the wisdom of the ages tells us that this silence is our truest home. It is the place of ultimate healing, creativity, and peace. It is in this silence that the nervous system can finally, completely reset. It is in this silence that the soul can drink from the well of its own source. It is in this silence that the deepest, most restorative sleep is found. As you lie here, on the very edge of sleep, I invite you to take this final step. The step beyond all concepts, all images, all stories. The step into the pure, vibrant silence that is your origin and your destiny. Don't try to imagine it. Don't try to think about it. Thinking is the noise. Instead, listen for it. Listen to the space between my words. Listen to the quiet in the room around you. Listen to the space between your own thoughts. There it is. has been here all along, patiently waiting for you to notice. This silence is not empty. It is full. It is full of peace. It is full of love. It is full of the potential for your dreams tonight. Let yourself sink into this silence. Let it hold you. Let it wash over you. Let it dissolve the last remaining traces of the worried, separate self. In this silence, there are no problems to be solved. In this silence, there is no identity to be defended. In this silence, there is no future to be feared and no past to be regretted. There is only this deep, profound, eternal isness. This is the place the mirror forgot to reflect, where the journey ended before it began. We have come full circle. The journey through the 10 stories, the 10 principles, was a journey to lead you right back here, to the place you never left. The place before the reflection, the place before the fall, the place before the resistance, the place before the separation, the place before the striving. You have returned to the source. And here, in this primal stillness, is the ultimate letting go. You are letting go of the need for the journey itself. You are home. Stillness is not the end. It is the beginning we forgot. It is the silent song that is always singing you. It is the love that is always holding you. It is the peace that is always available to you. So rest here. Let the silence be your lullaby. Let it be the gentle hand that closes your eyes. Let it be the soft ground that receives you into the deepest, most healing sleep you have had in a very, very long time. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to understand. Only this peace, only this silence. And so the song ends where the mirror never began.